finals. Is Kawhi really going to make that much of a difference if he comes back at this point? Season is almost over. Again, we're at 67 games, 66, 67, somewhere around there, depending on, what your schedule is. But we're pretty much at 70 games. Let's just say that. Let's round it up. 12 games left in the season. What is Kawhi going to be able to get out of those 12 games that's going to get him prepped for the playoffs to play playoff basketball when you already wanted him to get into game shape? I don't think he can get into game shape in 12 regular season games, 10 regular season games. He's your best defender. Are you going to put him up against the best player at this point? I don't think that happens. I don't think that helps. I think this is the one time where the Spurs should just, what they're doing now, shut them down, let them sit there. I'm not saying tanking or anything like that, but play your game, whatever happens. If you don't make the playoffs, that's fine. It's been 18 years. That's fine. One thing that the Spurs do better than anyone else is find talent, not in the lottery, because they haven't been in the lottery. So, I mean, they just barely, did they draft Kawhi? I know Indiana drafted him, and I think they traded him to the Spurs. So, Indiana drafted Kawhi Leonard and then traded him to the Spurs for George Hill. And I think that was the 15th pick. So, I mean, you're right there on the outside. So that really wasn't even a draft pick. So I just think if they do not make the playoffs, that's probably the best thing. To me, this would be the closest thing to where when they had that horrible season, some people said they tanked or whatever, and they got Tim Duncan. I think they could go there, find another piece, and get Kawhi back. Whatever is going on behind the scenes that people are talking about is that they may be, having issues. Kawhi's camp and the Spurs and all that stuff. I think that's nonsense. I think at the end of the day, that everything's get worked out. Everything will be good. I think Kawhi's a good fit there. But the Spurs, I'm just saying. Yeah, I just don't think right now they need to try and bring Kawhi back. It's been forever. It's been forever. I'm reading the chat room. Clutch Talk Sports is putting some news in my face right now that I'm going to go into in just a moment. So I'm just giving you a heads up because I'm not happy about it. Let's just put it that way. And it'll lead, pretty much into this football news. But Spurs. You got an elder Tony Parker. You got an elder Manu Ginobili. They got DeJounte Murray, young cat. Patty Mills is there. He's not so young. You got LaMarcus Aldridge, Kawhi, and you got some other guys. I can't remember the kid's name. I think his last name is Anderson. But I just think this would be a prime opportunity for the Spurs to make that transition from Tony, Manu, because they may play another year, but I think that's pretty much it. I think that's, and then they ride off to the sunset and they're done. So I think with this NBA draft that's coming out that people are saying, you got a lot of talent that's going to be in this draft. This would be a prime opportunity for it. So don't play Kawhi. At this point, it's a lost cause. He's not going to help you get over the hump. He's not going to help you beat Houston. He's not going to help you beat Golden State because, let's just be honest, if they make the playoffs, that's where they're going to be. They're going to either be the 7th seed or the 8th seed. And the last thing they want is to see the Golden State Warriors and see Jaja Pachulia again and have to go through that whole rigmarole about what Jaja did. Did he do it on purpose and, and all that stuff. And then you lose. And, you're not beating those two teams. The difference in talent is just that, one-sided. Could they finish, 6? Possibly. But then they still would see Portland. I think Portland still could beat them, at this point. Or they could see OKC, because Portland OKC is tied right now with wins. The losses are different, but I just think play your game. Hope, and Spurs fan, just hope they play their game and don't make the playoffs. Because I think next year they'll be ready to go, But we'll get off that. We'll get into the football news, and we'll start with the football news right now. With, like I told you, Clutch Talk Sport. My man Kevin Gray is trying to drop some breaking news, on me, and he's giving about some sources and everything, and he's trying to get me riled up. I'm trying to stay calm until it's the Big L Award time. I'm trying to save that energy. But Clutch Talk is trying to bring it out of me. Kevin Gray is trying to bring it out of me. But breaking news, he was saying, sources say Frank Gore, who will be 35 in Spanish in May, is going to sign with the Detroit Lions after his visit with them. And Clutch, Kevin, I'm not happy about that. I love Frank Gore. Don't get me wrong. And I'm not a 49ers fan or anything like that. I was just a fan of Frank Gore because I just think he did things the right way. And he just, he's been beaten Father Time over and over and over again. But the reason that it's nothing to do with, well, there's a little bit to do with Frank. But the biggest thing as far as here's the people that have visited the Lions. Since we're in this football mix. DeMarco Murray, I think he's 30. Jonathan Stewart, no, I think DeMarco Murray is 32, maybe somewhere around there. But Jonathan Stewart, he's 30. And now you're talking about Frank Gore, 35. You got a new coach. They're trying to put their stamp on everything. And I understand maybe they're trying to get a vet, to go with maybe a draft pick. But I really just think the Detroit Lions at this point for what they need. And if you have heard this show, you have heard me say it to blue in the face, lion blue in the face, is that they need a running game. But I don't think that they need a running back who's going to be there probably the max a year. We had the same situation happen here in Atlanta with the Falcons. They picked up Steven Jackson. No one knew Steven Jackson was going to fall off the edge of the earth like that. It was, and you just wow. Maybe that's why the Rams, let him move on to other things. And you had a guy in Devontae Freeman that was sitting there waiting. And Devontae finally got his opportunity. And we've seen, how he turned out. So that's where I'm at with the Lions and these elder running backs. I just think it's really time to get a running back, a serious running back, and stop trying to find, this, hey, what is that over there? And everyone look, and then you'd be like, oh, we drafted a running back, let's just get someone to help Matthew Stafford. I don't think Frank Gore is the answer. I think Frank Gore would be better set for a team that is, and that's the other thing. I don't think Frank Gore, even though I'm going to say it right now, I've said it already before out in public, but Lions going to the Super Bowl this year. Book it. So, but I just don't think he's built, and because I'm going to say he needs to go to a contender. What I mean by that is someone that's in the mix that is going to be able to utilize his services the right way. I don't think Detroit can utilize his service the right way. But if he's on the team, I'll trust the process. Clutch Talk sound like a Matt Millen type of move. That's your man's Matt Patricia. Good luck with that. Yeah. I'm gonna have to roll with it if they do it. I'm gonna roll with it and I'm gonna cheer it on. But it's a tough pill to swallow. If that happens, because I really do think the Lions are gonna draft a running back in the upcoming draft. I just really think they just do that. Get that running back that you want and put them in day one and be like, yo, this is the guy we're going to run with. And we'll see, what happens on that. So we are in the football part, and today's show or tonight's show it's raining money in the NFL. So Kirk Cousins. We talked about it, and I put on Facebook. I said I wouldn't have been shocked with some of the moves that the Browns were making if they landed Kirk Cousins, but it didn't work out that way. Previous shows I said he was going to go to Minnesota, so it looked like I was right about that. Everything, as long as nothing, no banana in the tailpipe stuff type happens or anything like that, Kirk Cousins is going to be the quarterback of the Minnesota Vikings. And now it's supposed to be done Thursday officially. So the question is about Kirk Cousins' contract, though. It's supposed to be a 3-year contract, and if I remember correctly, it's $84 million, which is fully guaranteed. So for people who don't know about these football contracts, because a lot of people like to point out, such and such signed for, 4 years, $1 million and all this stuff. They were just talking about Richard Sherman. His stuff is an incentive-laden, deal, what people is stating now. So, these contracts are not really what they say they are, because everything has to go right. You got roster bonus, you got to be on there, you got to be healthy, you got to, get to a Pro Bowl, you got to be all pro. I mean, all this stuff, that they put into your contract. So you don't get all of the money. But on this one, they're saying that Kirk Cousins' contract is fully guaranteed. All 3 years, all $84 million. So if he gets cut, which we obviously know that's not going to happen, but if anything happens, with him, he get outplayed and they play somebody else, he's going to be a very, very expensive backup quarterback, for the Vikings. So it begs the question of, will we see more guaranteed contracts in the NFL? And I'm going to say yes and no. I know you're like, what? Yes and no. You can't say yes and no. Yes, I can. And no, I didn't. But yes, I can. And I will. Yes and no. And here's what I mean by yes and no. With the no part, I don't think we'll see more guaranteed contracts just in the NFL with players. But I do think in certain situations, quarterback, we will see more guaranteed contracts. I'm not surprised by it. It was bound to happen. Kirk Cousins put himself in a. I mean, here's the thing with Kirk Cousins. He didn't take all the money because he could have went somewhere else and got paid a lot more. But to me, I think it was smart. It was, instead of signing a 4 or 5 year deal worth $137 million and all this stuff like Jimmy G, and I'm not knocking his contract because it works for him, but what we just talked about, if you have all this stuff that plays out, then you get all your money. This is at least like, look, I'm going to get my money regardless. So if I had to said, you know what, let me get 120, let me get 137 or whatever, and it still kind of averages out basically to what Jimmy is getting. It's shorter years. I think Jimmy got 5 years, so Kirk got 4. 3. I'm sorry. So 3 years. So he's banking on himself for those 3 years. And let's just say everything didn't work out in 3 years. They cut him. He wouldn't have got that money anyway. So he still walk away with the same money, or maybe a little bit more than what he would have had. I like it. I think it's smart. Again, Kirk Cousins is he took advantage of his situation. He got tagged twice. So the other thing is that I found out that I did not know this, is that going to any other team, if they try and franchise tag him, that's his 3rd franchise tag. So it doesn't start over because you're on a new team. So no team is going to franchise tag him because they don't want to pay him $34, $35 million, which would probably be even more than that, So I think more guaranteed contracts will happen for quarterbacks. Aaron Rodgers is coming up. I think he will probably get a guaranteed contract. Matt Ryan, I don't think he'll get a guaranteed contract.